Hello, everyone.
Doing.
Hopefully they can hear you, Robin. I just turned you on.
Oh, I hope so. You turn me on again. Yeah, I am making a political statement.
That political statement is wear a freaking mask.
Exactly. That's my. Yeah, you knew. Who'd have thought it'd be a political statement in this day and age? But anyway,
Just shouldn't be.
I don't know.
This is science. This isn't politics. This isn't
No,
a partisan
exactly.
issue. It's wear a poxy mask. But anyway,
Yeah, that's. I'm feeling edgy tonight.
who we've got some people already in the chat waiting for us tonight. We've got Matt, we've got Andrew Marlowe, we've got No Beef Just Party, we've got VJ, we've got Justin Ellaby, we've got Red Rose Wargaming, we've got Into the Glory Hole, we've got Rosa, we've got MacLeod, we've got we've got all three of the Into the Glory Hole crew, despite there only being two of them. But
Okay,
anything
that's
that
good to
pumps those
know.
numbers
So
up.
they're basically accounting for a quarter of our views at the moment.
Yeah.
Way!
Stu McMurtry, hello. And Red Rose Wargame says put the mask back on.
That is just rude.
No, leave it like that. That's perfect.
Can't see. No, I know why people don't want to wear them. Maybe they're wearing them wrong.
God.
I can't do with shopping like that. I did get a haircut, VJ. Yes, I did get a haircut. I got this mask on Etsy. If anybody's wondering where it came from. So,
The mask.
I've got a Decembrist one which I wore the other night when we were in the garage, which says everything is awful on it.
Which is pretty accurate.
Oh, yours is just so much better than mine.
These are our special face shields done by the Hobby Hermit, who is also doing loads of the little back clip bits, that the ear savers or whatever they call them.
Oh, okay,
for
cool.
free, pretty much. If anyone needs them, he's doing them because he's that kind of lovely man.
He's awesome.
So let's crash on with our evening chatter, I guess.
Yeah. What
Too
are we talking
transparent.
about?
Thank you very much. Thanks, VJ.
You look like the sexy welder from Flashdance.
You wait till I
Welsh-
take the shirt off. It's like a
Is the Welsh
six-pack.
version different to the the rest of the UK version?
It's got Nick Frost in it. It's like a six-pack, only there's more of it. So
Only it's donuts.
it's a family pack. My window, because I'm baking. The weather's silly here. Rosa says, let's slag off GW's sales scheme. Well, that is part of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, I thought that was a typo. I thought she was saying I was slagging off Wales. Trying to work out what she meant.
GW's Wales scheme? What's wrong with their Wales scheme? They're very anti-Wales. They don't like Wales.
Well,
Something about their music. They wouldn't let them buy the rights to it.
INF Deakin. There aren't any whales for that in them. I don't know. It's all sharks things, isn't it? No whales.
So we, as GW, have still decided to not give us any kind of Underworlds news or content or tidbits at all. We decided to venture further forward into the hobby sphere, as it were, to
Yes.
talk about other things tonight.
Yeah, and then they didn't do that, and then they kind of almost put the kibosh on what we were going to talk about tonight.
They did almost, yes, although I think the points we were going to discuss are still valid regardless of what GW have done.
I think so. Yeah. What were we going to discuss? R.I.P. Scalpers. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, scalpers. That's a big point. I mean, I don't think that the GW's move, and anybody who's watching this and didn't know what all the kerfuffle was about, GW obviously said, yeah, we're going to do Indomitus. There's going to be bucket loads of boxes. There's going to be boxes coming out of every orifice, and
Box loads.
and box loads of boxes, and everyone's going to be able to get a copy, and don't worry about it. And then it's sold out in like 10 minutes when it
Well, they
went
had to
live.
stop. First of all, they said, actually, you're going to be limited to 6 copies. I mean, who buys 6 copies?
Well,
And then next, I suppose scalpers.
Yeah.
And then next, it was going to be you're limited to 3 copies,
Yeah.
which you could almost see, but not quite. And yeah, and then they sold out. The website crashed after about 10 seconds, and they sold out very quickly. And local game stores couldn't get them fast enough, which I think is a real shame.
Yeah.
And then you've got this fear of missing out that VJ's just brought up that he doesn't get. I don't know whether he just doesn't know what FOMO means, or whether he just generally doesn't get.
what is it? Oh, now I see. Oh, that makes more sense.
I thought it was like foam.
Foamy. Yeah, there's definitely this. I mean, there's multiple facets around this whole thing. I mean, one is the fact that GW said, "Don't worry, there'll be loads of copies," and then they're like, "Oh, you know what? We sold out. Oh shit!" And that's because loads of people were buying like 10, 20, 30 copies of this stuff to then flog on eBay, the scalpers, to make a profit. And I don't have any particular.
Look at those boxes behind you, Pete. Oh, there they are.
Shh! Shut up! Shut up! No, these aren't GW boxes. They're
Yeah.
Anyway.
I bet there's like bloody Lego in there. You're one of those Lego scalpers, don't you? You bloody buy. I hate those people. More than GW scalpers. People who buy Lego sets to break them out and sell the minifigures. God, I hate them with a passion.
It's only because they charge so much for the minifigures and you want them all.
Well, yeah and no, but I refuse to pay. That just really annoys me.
So I think there's, and I don't know if we'll approach these all in the right order or the right angle or even with any actual sense whatsoever, but there are a few angles to this one, and you know, a lot of people rightly were pissed off that GW said there'd be loads, but it was going to be a limited run, although they did say if there was demand they would print more. They did say that at the beginning.
Did they actually say that at the beginning? I missed that because I must confess I had my head down for various reasons, and so I didn't kind of. I got the. I was really lucky. I got the Indomitus box, and I was digging through it and thinking, "Wow, this is pretty cool." And but there's some limitations. And then it became apparent to me later, after I kind of thought about it, that they were only doing a limited run.
I kind of imagine a scene out of like Walking Dead or whatever, where Thingy wakes up in the hospital, like, or 28 days later, where they do that classic wake up in the hospital after everything's already happened, and then just wandering around the destruction going, what the fuck's going on? But it's you, and just dead people and empty Indomitus boxes.
Well, it was a bit like that, because I hadn't realised it wasn't a starter set and all this kind of stuff, and I think maybe they did make it really clear, but it just, to me, that just taking a step back, a massive amount of hype that they made for it, I then couldn't understand why it was a limited run, and I still don't understand the business decision to have this amazing new box, which is pretty fantastic, and then it not be like the go-to point for the game.
I presume that they didn't want to keep doing it forever because it's just such good value that you've got 300 odd pounds worth of models in a box that's 125 quid with the rule book and stuff.
But then why do it at all in that case?
Well, yeah, I guess you do it as a limited run to get people frothing over it like this, and then you get what happened, which is everybody can't get a copy and everyone hates you for making a limited run. So it makes no sense to really.
So are they using fear of missing out to drive their sales? Is that what you're saying? They're deliberately making these things sort of understocked, and then everybody wants it because they know they're going to run out of it.
It does kind of seem like that, doesn't it? And it seems to capitalise on people's fear of missing out, of missing a box and not being able to buy this great quality box or great value box. You know, whether it's great quality, that's a different discussion, but for the cost of the parts individually versus the whole, it is massive value for money. You could buy the whole thing, you could split it up and sell the bits you don't want on eBay and possibly come out of it almost up on the deal and have an army.
And that in itself is problematic, I think. I mean, I know that's modern life, but having a box that then people buy multiple copies of, and even if they don't, I know people have been selling the box for, trying to sell the box for X $1 million. The actual splitting it down, buying it deliberately and splitting it down, to me, I think is almost like a step away from what I think the hobby should be and what I think starter sets should be for, or box sets should be for. But maybe I'm just old.
It is what now said that this has happened with some sets. It depends. For instance, the Forbidden Power set was a limited run campaign. It's still available, and I think they did it to try and obviously big up those sales. Although anything with 40k 9th edition on it was going to sell like mental anyway. And No Beef Just Pie says he thinks the official starter set will be Necrons and Sisters of Battle, which a smaller set, which it could be. I think £125 is maybe, despite the awesome value for it, is maybe a bit much for a starter set for 40k. You want to intro someone into 40k. You want something that's going to be about 60 quid maybe.
Yeah.
Much past that, it starts to get a bit.
Because they have the two small sets, don't they? But for 8th edition they bought out whatever it was called, Dark Imperium, which was a starter set.
Yeah.
But then they bought out two even more basic starter sets,
which had subsets of the models in.
yeah, I was anticipating that they would do the same, um, and they haven't. And I find it interesting that currently there's no way for beginners to buy the box. I mean, they may be in stores. If you look on the Games Workshop website, there are none of the no fear, or there is only more, whatever they're called, box sets available.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, Matt did point out, quite rightly, that there was a notable shift in supply demand from GW following the Dreadfleet debacle, in that they made tons of it, and a lot of people went, actually, it's a bit shit, don't like this, and they ended up with absolute mountains of it in warehouses, and they couldn't shift it. So that was way back when GW were having issues with their stock, and they weren't doing as good as they are now, at least, and they realised, well, hang about, there's always going to be a demand for a lot of this stuff, so let's just be a bit more,
I do
restricted.
kind of feel like you touched on a little bit there about it being a bit shit. I do feel like now they could almost, as long as it was a well-crafted turd, they could put a turd and people will buy it.
As long as that turd is polished up real good.
Yeah, as long as it's got some twiddly bits on it. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they are a miniatures company after all, and people do buy lots and lots of miniatures from them. But I don't know that the games themselves are that great. But they still sell, shift masses and masses of units.
Yeah, and I think they were gambling, or I don't know whether they were gambling on it, but I think they knew that whatever they produced for 9th edition in this, and Justin's pointed out, it's not a star box, it's a collector's box, and they knew whatever they produced they were going to sell in droves, and that sort of capitalised on this fear of missing out, the hobby hype that a lot of people get really caught up in these days to a ridiculous degree now.
Yeah.
Justin, the start box is still to come. Yes, we do. Well,
I assume so. I mean, obviously nobody's heard anything about it. I'm curious as to the decision. It's like when maybe I'm just curious because I position our content to be for parents or for beginners, and this box isn't for beginners. So we've ended up with like, go out and buy this box for your kids. It's still good value, even though it's not ideal for beginners. And then actually they won't be able to really. Because no parent is going to sign up for made to order that's going to come 12 weeks later to get their child into a game. And there's this vacuum at the moment, it feels to me, which is an interesting decision. They've obviously decided to do it that way. Maybe the money they're going to get from selling a quadrillion Indomitus boxes makes it worthwhile. Maybe it doesn't matter that there's a lull because the summer probably isn't the time people get into Warhammer 40,000, and probably by the time that October comes round, starter sets will be available and people will be looking towards Christmas. That maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I did think it was really stupid, or weird at least. I mean, they know what their bank balance is like, so they know if it's a stupid move or not. But to me, it seemed like a really weird move to come out with this box that was just a collector's box to kick off 9th edition when it wasn't actually a starter box at all. To me, it would have made much more sense to come out with a smaller starter box with everything, and they go, and here's a collection box as well, which you can buy as well and strap onto the army you've already got in that starter box.
Exactly, absolutely. That to me would have made more sense. But then I don't run a multinational $1 million company, so
everybody online, everybody on Facebook's got their opinion on what the best approach is, but none of them actually know what the accountants see. So they don't know what the best move is, and GW obviously know what the right move is to do with this stuff, which is another sub point. I always love reading these armchair economists who sit there and say how GW have ruined their chances or destroyed their fan base or are destroying the brand, or with like their bank balance looks pretty fucking good for someone doing really stupid things, so obviously it's working.
Diversity is going to ruin it. Look, it's completely ruined Star Wars. Nobody watches that anymore.
No, I mean, who cares about Star Wars these days?
And Marvel, they're rubbish as they've diversified.
Yeah. Oh no, wait, no, they're making billions. That's right, they're making billions. So obviously they know what they're doing. And this is part of the whole thing that we were going to talk about, is this hobby train, the hobby hype train, and the fear of missing out things. Is a lot of people these days, it doesn't seem to be about the hobby so much as just having stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you get those posts on Facebook, you have them for a long time, of people go, I did a thing today, and what they really did was max out their credit card, and just got a huge, massive lump, tower of plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be that kind of. I suppose there's always those kind of people. The acquisition is more important than kind of enjoyment of the game itself. I say that I've ordered Crisis Protocol and a Star Wars Legion box set this week, so I'm probably not probably sort of throwing stones in my greenhouse over here.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done it to an extent, haven't we? And I think this really highlight that whole this whole drive to have the new biggest shiniest thing. And I think a lot of people, I mean, it's nice to buy stuff. I mean, I've been saying to you for the last few days, I'm still tempted to buy the Indomitus box, despite the fact that we have one. We got sent one, and yet I still want to buy one. And there's a level of fucked up logic in that, which a lot of GW or even just model enthusiasts like us have. It's just, this makes no sense, but I kind of want to buy it anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be tempted to buy it, I have to say, even though the models are very nice. But that's just me, and I know that I had grand plans for 8th edition and I never played.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
that's the main thing that stopped me from buying it, because I know what happened with us with 8th, and I know from experience, time-wise, we don't have the time to dedicate to it. So I know if I bought that box, it would go under the bed with the other boxes, like when I bought Deep Madness last year or 2 years ago, and it's never come out of the packaging. So I am slowly learning.
I've got Deep Madness, but in our house we call it 3 Kids.
I mean, Justin did point out one point which was quite irritating, that GW, the thing that irritated him is that they said there would be loads, plenty to go around, when they kind of knew there wouldn't be. I mean, did they underestimate the actual amount of demand there would be for it? Maybe.
I did see some stat that they sold like a ridiculous number more than the 8th edition copies.
I think Matt posted that, didn't he, in our Discord? He mentioned something about that. I think they did underestimate it a bit, and I think, I don't know if it's the lockdown at the minute, people stuck at home more, people maybe hobbying more, although we've not seen a turn up on our channel. I don't know if other channels have, and it's just because we're shit, but there does seem to be a lot more crazy people around these days on the internet than there used to be.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Matt says that they sold more in 10 minutes than 3 years of Dark Imperium. I have no idea how factually accurate that is, but even if it's remotely close, that's crazy.
I'm just going back to Mask Crazy. We're talking about crazy people on the internet. I've got a perfect point to illustrate it here.
And I do think the lockdown fever helped people want to buy something shiny that's nice.
Yeah, that's probably true. Stress. And also, Milky said he wondered how much COVID affected production. That is a good point. But then maybe Games Workshop would have been in trouble either way if they said, "Oh, we've got this new box coming out, but actually we haven't got enough for everybody. So make sure you get in your order quick." That probably would have caused a fair amount of consternation too.
I also feel that they probably would have had all the boxes they were going to produce done by the start of lockdown, because then they would have to have been working on getting those boxes shipped out and stuff like that.
That's possibly true, yeah.
So maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It's hard to say, really.
And I also wonder, just to completely derail the conversation, as I like to do, I wonder whether the app will actually then channel into a new starter box, because obviously they've announced the app since.
It's disgusting. $5 a month for an app,
which has caused another shitload of people to moan, as Pete's just alluded to.
I'll pay $400 for some plastic, but I ain't paying $5 for a fucking app. Telling you.
No, exactly. Yeah,
that's where I draw the line.
And I kind of feel like, actually, from a beginner's point of view, the app could be brilliant. I mean, that could really be, if you could actually go and buy your starter box, start collecting box, and then play a mission and with the app, then I think you're laughing. I think the app. I'm interested to see it, to see how the app works. I know it's causing a lot of consternation because it's there's Battle Scribe, and it doesn't offer more than that. And then other people have moaned about Azir, the
iOS
Sigmar one, because I think that's not being supported properly at the moment. So I don't really. It's not a side of the hobby I follow, there's lots of people moaning at the moment.
So Andrew Marlowe said that he thought GW was going to actually change the game mechanic, and he finds that he doesn't have time for a 2-3 hour game anymore. I agree with you, Andrew, 100%, and I was looking forward to maybe that they would do something like make it a WeGo system, a WeGo system rather than I go, you go. But
Every time we talk about that, you can never remember which way around.
Never which way around. They're both going together anyway. Alternate unit activation rather than alternate army activation. And someone online said basically, I don't know why they haven't changed it. You know, the system's shit. Look at all these other systems that have the other way around. That's working much better. And I pointed out, well, they're still making a ton of cash. So whilst the bot, whilst it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why do they don't have any push to change it up, really?
Justin makes a good point that Combat Patrol is supposed to make a quicker game, and I guess it will do because it's a smaller game. So it's like I can't remember the exact number of points on a Combat Patrol now. I have the books behind me. I'll have a look.
Whilst you're looking, I'll just address some of the other comments. MacLeod says Azir's 99p and 40k is £4. Agreed. I think you do get a lot more in the 40k version than the AOS version because I think it has loads of other stuff in there as well that will help you. I can't say what though. I haven't seen the two side by side. It is a step up in price though. I will give you that. I do think, and of course, on top of all of this, sorry, I started a conversation, and then I stopped to read some more comments. So Andrew Meyer says, as soon as you play unit activation in a game, you can't go back to the my whole army, then your whole army. I agree, yeah, you can't, once you've gone one way, you can't go back, and I don't think GW, at least anytime soon, will do that, because they have lots of other games where they offer that, Underworlds being one of them.
Yeah, 500 point limit Combat Patrol is 3 command points, battle duration up to an hour. Although I normally find certainly when you're first playing the game, the battle durations you need to sort of double them and move up to the next unit. So 1 hour game will take 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Jay has said the I go you go system is why you'll mostly be sticking to kill team. It's just how they add some of those units. I agree. And Milky says 40k Underworlds, please. Yeah, I wouldn't mind 40k Underworlds.
40k Underworlds would be pretty cool. Somebody else has something else in there. It was... where's it gone? The Crusader mode seems interesting. Yes, it does. I'm hoping to do a video on that in the next couple of days about Crusader mode. But do actually need to finish the rules without falling asleep. I only get to read late at night at the moment. I start reading and then fall asleep.
So
Kill Team 2.0, maybe next year. Did they overhaul it at all? Because they did a new box set, didn't they, with Kill Team? Did they overhaul it?
I don't think they actually changed the rules at all.
No.
Matt Collins says he's surprised there hasn't been a 40k variant of Underworld yet. I mean, I can't think of a reason why not, to be honest. But
no, it would be pretty cool. I would play that because I do like the aesthetic of 40k.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I absolutely love the aesthetic of it, and they would be able to do it. VJ's point out no rules changed. They wouldn't have to change much in the way rules. It would mostly be dedicated to fight. I think you can for Kill Team. Oh, possibly, yeah. But even with Underworlds,
no, it wouldn't. So the only thing is you'd have competing games. If you're trying to make the ultimate competitive miniatures game, you can't really have 2 of them. That would be the only issue.
It would be trickier. Although, the swathe of people who are into 40k who would buy that up. And I don't know which system is more competitive, AOS or 40k, but I'm sure there are a lot of very competitive 40k people out there that would be all over something like that. Are you checking Matt's question?
I am checking Matt's question. I want to say no, but I'm just checking. It's not like in the General's Handbook, which I've seen knocking around.
I've had myself a new mouse map printed.
Who are they?
I don't know, bunch of twats. And I have to put it down on my desk so it's slightly tilted, like our logo is, or else it's not right.
So characters can earn honours and get traits and things. I don't think you can particularly...
Beads.
Sorry?
Beads. For the Slaanesh army, just a quick flash.
I don't think you can actually have particularly custom characters. I say I haven't read it all yet. Because life. So they haven't. So I don't think so. Matt, to answer your question, Matt asked whether you could have characters. How did you phrase it? Custom characters. So no, you can customize people as they go through their campaign, but you can't. I don't think you can actually start off with custom characters. It's not dissimilar to how the Warcry one works in essence. I mean, it has got extra knobs on, and I think it's clearly
more knobs about
evolved out of that.
Especially if you're an orc.
Yeah, but
Justin LB says, what was that small scale game they did released only in America with some of the Blackstone Fortress models?
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? I can't remember what that was called.
Don't remember.
It was like we've got one of them that which was with Necrons, but then they did another one the year after.
Was it called Labyrinth of the Necrons or something, like Tome of the Necrons?
The one we had was something of the Necrons. It was like
Tomb of the Necrons.
I can't remember what it was called.
Now, I would have liked
Space Marine Adventures. Yeah, cheers, VJ. That's it.
Yeah.
And yes, VJ. I think the 2020 General's Handbook does have custom character builders in there.
I would have liked to have been able to say, hey, we're going to do a thing on the channel where we'll take the 40k armies from the box and we'll just start with like a unit and a leader, and then add another unit and do a bit of a slow build-up system. But I don't think A, that people would really want to watch that, and B, that we'd have the time to be able to do it anyway. So.
No, we wouldn't. So I was reading the comments then. Somebody said about the kids' version of Underworlds. I don't think the kids' version of Underworlds ever came out.
Didn't?
No, I don't think so. Anyway,
Although
do you mean Dreadfane? But
there was a thing a little while ago where somebody posted the thing called something like Arena Mortis on a order sheet from a shop or something.
We thought that was going to be a board.
Yeah, so we're wondering about that, whether it's a board or what.
Okay.
But Andrew Marlowe has said yes, they're looking forward to Necromunda. We decided on Necromunda because we feel that will be a bit more narrative for us, and we want to try and get a bit more.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. Although I can't get my head around it without playing it, but I can't. I don't know how to play it, so it's a bit of a catch-22. But actually, I find with a lot of games, it's too complicated to play without playing it. I can't learn it. I can't just read the rules and learn them anymore. I'm getting too old.
No, I'm the same. Frankly, I find I can play the game, read the rules, and still not be able to play it.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
Alex Dodd says Cawdor all the way. Good. I'll be playing Cawdor. Or not in the first few games. We're going to do the intros from the box first.
Yeah, we're playing this week. We're meeting on Thursday, and we're going to play our first game. Or we're going to record. It's not our first game, but it's our second game. But we're going to record it, and put it out there for whatever. It's probably going to have some issues because we've not really played in anger before, or even in laughter before. But we'll put it out there, get feedback, and then evolve.
Yep. Grow an extra arm or something.
Yeah, but no beef just much as Warcry. The rules are very simple, can be very narrative driven. We just didn't quite get into it.
The problem I had with Warcry, and we've said this, we've talked about this 100 times, is just I love the fact that it's really simple and very uninvolving, and that it's quite open, and that it doesn't matter if your entire warband get killed in a game because you just pick up new fighters and stuff. And I also disliked it for that reason, that there was nothing tying you in any way to any of the characters. It didn't matter if they died, they just got replaced with another model that looked exactly the same, and so there was that aspect for me. But yeah, it just didn't gel with us, although the models of the warband, some of them look brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I really did like the models and the aesthetic of the game and the speed of the game. But I think for me anyway, I say for us, I'm speaking for you. For me, it came down to the fact that if you said to me, "What shall I record? Shall I record Underworlds or Warcry?" I'd say let's do Underworlds, because Underworlds I love so much. If I'm going to play a fantasy game, I might as well play that rather than play Warcry. Whereas I think Necromunda is, because it's significantly different in tone. I think it will be far enough away from Underworlds for me to not conflate the two.
Yeah, it's not fantasy setting. It's a different system of play as well. So yeah. Combat Arena. Justin's just pointed out. Yes, there was that little standalone game in 40k where you call Combat Arena. I remember that now.
Yeah.
So we've gone completely off the rails now. Completely.
We have. Not surprising. So well, might as well go.
So
see everybody.
so in the people watching right now, let us know in the chat.
Malachi, quick, give us something to talk about.
Let us know in the chat. Who out there suffers from the hobby hype, the fear of missing out, and who is up at 1 minute to 10 hitting refresh on their browser furiously so they could get 1, 2, 3 boxes and order those because they needed it, despite the fact that there's a little bit in the back of their head sort of going, you're not going to open the box, you're not even going to put the models together, why are you doing this? Is there anybody out there who did that?
I actually wrote for a piece for Geek Dad a long time ago about whether Games Workshop should do a Kickstarter style sort of, not crowdfunding of their games, but almost like people pay up front for the pre-ordering and then everybody gets what they want, but they just get it 6 months down the line.
Which is kind of what they're doing now.
Well, it kind of is. It kind of, by default, they've done it that way. because they're doing this pre-order business, which I think was good. Whether that was always the intention, I don't know, but it is good that they announced that so swiftly, that you people would be able to get it. I guess it does sort of stop the scalpers.
It does a little bit, although it's going to be like 4 or 5 months before anybody gets a box, and people have been saying online, I'm still going to pay $100 extra to get this box because I'm not going to wait 5 months. And I sit there and think, well, if you're that desperate for it, then
that is your choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because I know that if I did that, 4 or 5 months later, it would still be sealed.
Yeah,
I've done that before. I've got a hardback book. I really, really wanted to read the third part of the J. Christoph's Dark Dawn series, and I bought the hardback so I could read it, and I haven't read it yet, and the paperback's out now. So It's not dissimilar to that.
Justin Ellaby said he got Indomitus from Loot Room for £85. Alex Dodd says he doesn't even play 40k, and Indomitus is giving him FOMO. Definitely has that feel to it. It's just that, I mean, GW are, I don't know why they send boxes out to people, to be honest, because the amount of coverage that Indomitus has had, everybody knew everything about the game before it came out, and they knew what all the models looked like, they knew what the sprues looked like, they knew all the rules changes. There was nothing anybody was going to get when opening that box, and that almost spoils it.
Yeah, I'm not that I'm complaining, but I am confused as to why they sent me a copy, because they don't always send us stuff.
No,
so we didn't get we got Necromunda, but we didn't get Dark Uprising. No, not Dark Uprising. What's the new one called? Is it Dark Uprising?
I think it might be Dark Uprising. Yeah, we didn't get that one.
Yeah, and there was something else that we didn't get. We didn't get the new Kill Team. Well, not the new Kill Team, but the other Kill Team books.
Yeah.
Which again, I didn't particularly want either, because we weren't playing them and didn't have the time to cover them. But they did send me this. But then they covered absolutely everything in excruciating detail. Then lots of other people got it, and then you could only buy it for about 15 minutes anyway. And and it wasn't it was a collector's set that everybody knew about. So I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Just Ellaby said that he didn't watch any of it because he wanted to be excited when he got it, and I really agree with that. I think there is this hobby hype.
It's like not watching the trailers, isn't it?
Yeah, people are. Yeah, because sometimes the trailers, they give away some major stuff. You just sit and think, well, I know now that this is going to happen because I just saw that in the trailer. So, I think, I can't remember which Marvel film it was. It was the one where Thor and what's-her-name comes along, and in one of the trailers you see him like heft his hammer at her and she just grabs it in the air. It's like, that's a big deal, and you're just going to put that in the trailer.
Yeah,
nobody watching the film now. Yeah, nobody's watching the film now is going to go, holy shit, when that happens in the film, because they already know it's coming. They're just going to be sitting there going, and catches it. Why do that? It's just spoiling it.
Yeah,
but it's this whole hobby hype thing that they're stoking the fire constantly.
I partly didn't read the coverage, so I could form my own opinion of the box. Then I missed out the fact that it wasn't a starter set. So my first thought was, there's no bloody dice in here.
Where's the ruler?
Yeah.
Where's me wibbly wobbly ruler? And we all get some FOMO in certain. Well, I think most of us get some form of FOMO in certain things. I definitely get it with gadgets sometimes. If I think about, maybe I'll get a microphone arm for my desk so I can not have so much tappy noise going on, I'll immediately think, now I've got to get it. I need to buy that, and then I'll start looking into it, researching on Amazon, all this kind of stuff. So I have that a bit, but I think as far as GW is concerned, I've got over that now.
I think it's driven from these kind of tech purchases, like people queuing up for their mobile phones and things. And I think culturally it's become a thing to be the first people to get stuff.
Yeah.
Like a competition.
And especially for things like phones and tablets, it's like, you have a phone, you have a tablet, you can wait a month and order it and have it delivered to your house rather than camping in the street. So why you didn't?
Similarly, I'm sure there's nobody who's ordered this set who has painted every single miniature they've got in their collection.
Hello, Ed. Ed's just joined us as well. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, Ed.
Yeah, I think there are things. There are definitely things that get everybody with that kind of FOMO thing going on. But GW really hyped the train on this one. Really, really stoked it with. I mean, they had designers on their shows, on their presentations and stuff like that. They had people who had done artwork and painted models and all this kind of stuff. And I just thought, you've done all this, and it's brilliant, but at the same time, there's nothing interesting is going to come out of it. People are going to get this box and go, oh look, it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah. It'd be funny if it wasn't. Funny if they had something else in there.
Just open the box, it's a load of Gretchen.
Sisters of Battle and Orcs, and you get the box.
A little poster of all the GW crew just giving the finger. This is all you're getting.
It's FOMO for concert tickets. Well, that makes sense because it's a finite thing.
Yeah.
If you don't get the concert tickets, there are no more spaces in the stadium or whatever.
And so depending on the band, they might not be alive much longer.
That makes some sense. But I think Kickstarter drives it. You get these huge, call me or not, Kickstarters and things like the Deep Madness, and you could I can just add another $25 and I can get X, and I can get I must get it. It looks amazing, and and there's a time window, and I think it's just all driven by that kind of it is FOMO. You've got to get everything.
Yeah, I think so. And Melky's point out is he says it feels it was a bit presented for the global market. It was way over the top, and I think for a lot of people it was just way too much, just way too much. I've missed the comment up here somewhere. Somebody said, it was Malachi said his Indomitus FOMO has been for GW to get out of the way so we can have some more Underworlds.
Yeah, I find that a little bit frustrating. I understand why they are so focused, but it is a bit frustrating that our game has been cast aside for the moment.
Yes, I'm not very happy about that one. No Beef Just Pie said the Kickstarter idea model would be good to introduce new races or armies. Kind of, but GW don't work like that. They have like that 18-month lead time, designing, tying it all into their universe and doing all the artwork to make sure it all sort of melds together and stuff like that, and their prep journey is huge.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like it could help them be a bit more, try a few different things. Like they could try a Dreadfleet type game if you had somebody, if they did a sort of more crowdfunding source, because then they wouldn't need to make more than they need, so they could try other things.
True.
Rather than just kind of effectively retreading the same stuff. I mean, the miniatures set aside are brilliant, but they could try different games and try different things if they knew up front they were going to shift the units they were going to make.
Yeah, I mean, Youngjin's pointed out.
They already know that, I guess.
Yeah, Youngjin's pointed out that
was a Kickstarter. That would be a really good idea. I think there'd be no risk really. I think they get lots of backers, and I think that would be an excellent idea.
Youngjin has pointed out as well that GW hate to waste moulds because, rightly, they cost a lot of money to produce and there's a lot of investment in those. And these things end up in various start collecting sets, so there's not really any point in panicking about missing this stuff the first time round. It is going
That is a very good point. I have thought of that a few times myself, thinking I must get this because it's got that amazing miniature in it, and then said amazing miniature comes out in a smaller set.
Now, sometimes GW have been guilty of producing a set with one particular model in that they haven't then released separately for absolutely bloody ages. There was the Skaven versus, I can't remember who it was. It was Skaven against somebody. It was a set, and there was the Bombardier model that had that rocket launcher in like a heavy metal power cord pose, and they didn't release that Bombardier model for like 6-12 months or something like that, separate on its own, which was a bit of a shit because
I'm going to start talking about Lego again. I really wanted the 1966 Batcave because I love that classic era Batman, but there's no way I was paying the money for it. But what I really wanted was the Batmobile. So they did the 66 Batmobile, which I loved as a kid, and I really wanted that, and they still haven't ever released it as its own set. And again, I refuse to go to these eBay scalpers who
was that on the
set and broke it down.
Was the Batmobile in the Lego Batcave or something like that?
Yeah, it was in the Batcave. So it was a great big Batcave with the Batmobile and various other things, loads of cool minifigures. But I really wanted the Batmobile. But again, they've never brought it out, that classic 66 one. But anyway, I digress.
But is that thing that, and I think that is partially what drives it a little bit of people do think I've got to buy this box set because when am I going to have a chance to get those models? And the answer is probably for most of those models not that long. You know, they'll come out in other little sets soon. Malachi's point.
You just build your own Batmobile. It is Lego. Technically, Malachi, I mean, couldn't you sculpt your own models?
This is that's a bit of akin to that meme where it says something like, "Mum, can we get some of blah? Mum, we have blah at home. At home, some other completely shit little knockoff product instead." I saw one for the Oryx recently where it was like, "Mum, can we have Morgoth's Crushers? We have Morgoth's Crushers at home, and at home it's Gerzag's boys." Like that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, so technically I could, but I need a lot of black Lego, and I need to know how to design, how to build things that look good. But yes, technically you're right, Malachi.
and James pointed out there are some characters from the Dark Imperium set, the Captain the Gravis, the Ancient, some of the Death Guard characters, you can't get them separately. So how do you, what do you do there? There is that terror, I think, that pushes the hobby hype and the FOMO, which is, I might not be able to get this model before. But then GW turned around yesterday, or was it today, one of the days recently, and said, you know what, we're just going to print them on demand for people.
Yeah, Malachi's trolling me now. He did build his own models.
So there you go, screw you. You smart mouth. And I do wonder if GW, I don't know if it was I don't know if I want to put my tinfoil hat on and say GW did this so that they knew they'd sell out on the initial run massively fast and then basically sell everything again to all the people who couldn't get it the first time, and then a bunch of people who bought it will return it. I don't really see the logic in it at all, but
there definitely is a if something sells out, it makes it more desirable. So they by doing it in two waves, they possibly will sell more because people who were thinking, I don't really need that, it's like, well, everybody else is buying it and I missed out, so maybe I ought to buy it too. Because that happens as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There is that.
I bought things I had no intention of buying because people who have loads of other people have bought it, so I think it must be good.
Case in point, to a slightly lesser extent, but case in point in this country when COVID and everything kicked in, toilet paper and pasta, you couldn't get that shit anywhere for love nor money unless you went online and started buying it from some mental places for some silly money. And I'm pretty sure there are still people sitting on a mountain of toilet roll now based on what they bought back then, with no logic other than everyone else is buying toilet roll, we need to buy some.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, that was the daft thing in that case, wasn't it? Because I remember buying some loo roll because I thought, well, I do need some.
Yes.
And I've got some, but I will need some. I will need some more in the future. I don't want to not be able to get any because somebody's bought 20,000 rolls.
Yeah, and that was that classic thing here where they were like, everyone's buying it, I better buy it because everyone else is buying it. At least with toilet roll, you do always need some, so there is a reason for buying it. But people went mad and were buying tons of the stuff when they didn't need to. Yeah.
Alex says, you'll know who these people are when they start using toilet roll for terrain, and they've got like a stockade made out of toilet tubes.
Just made an entire I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of the big city in Lord of the Rings?
The Minas Tirith.
Yeah, just made out of toilet roll. I've done a 1/15 scale model.
7 tiers of toilet roll.
Yeah, I've done a 1/15 scale of Minas Tirith out of toilet rolls and pasta.
Matt thinks they were generally caught out as they cancelled the daily stream on Monday to avoid the backlash and announced the made to order. Well, you could well be right. Yeah, that's true. The 120-day lead time doesn't suggest it wasn't planned. That is definitely true. Definitely going with that.
Yeah, that could be the case. Although it's a bit cowardly to cancel the live stream, or did they just realise it would just be people bitching and moaning the whole way through? Maybe. I guess maybe.
So I didn't realise Games Workshop did a regular live stream on a Monday.
Since the lockdown's been in, they've been doing a lot of. I think they do practically a daily sort of thing.
Right, fair enough.
I think anyway. I don't think they did half as much of it as they did before the lockdown kicked in. It would be a bitch fest. Matt is right. And I think in general, a lot of people have kind of lost what the hobby in general is about. A lot of people now, it's
controversial.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we said earlier, there's a lot of people who just post a picture with like, I did a thing And like, well, you just spent 600 quid on crap that you're never going to paint, and guarantee in about 6 months' time we're going to see a post later on. And I've seen them. We've all seen them in loads of places. For sale, 20,000 points of Space Marines. 90% of it isn't stuck together or even taken out of the box, and 3 units have been spray undercoated, and that's it. You just bought a load of shit because you wanted to buy a load of shit, and that's the only reason why you did it. And that's, I think people do that with a lot of things. That's the culture these days, is just to buy stuff because that's the, you get the serotonin hit of having something new and shiny.
That is true.
But a lot of people these days don't think, what, I'm just going to buy.
I'll tell you what I bought this week. I already have.
Yeah. and I think to an extent people see that as the hobby, is just buying stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I like Underworlds, is that even if you go, I'm going to buy the lot, I mean, yeah, you're going to blow a couple of £100, but you could very realistically and easily play with all of it at some point without too much difficulty. Whereas with 40k, you buy like a 6,000 point army. You've got months just trying to stick all that bloody stuff together.
Yeah. Yeah, buying is the real hobby. That's true. You do get a real hit from it, as you said, Pete, and VJ's agreeing with you. I think that's why I like books, because you can get a hit on a book, and it doesn't cost too much money.
Yeah, yeah. Or even like smaller board games and things like that.
Yeah, I've actually had to stop buying board games because I've realised that my family don't like playing with me.
Boo.
They've just stopped cheating.
I'll play with you.
But although I am going to buy the new book by new game by the lady who invented Wingspan, which I haven't got because it's about butterflies. I do like butterflies, and particularly the monarch. It's about monarch butterfly migration. Sounds like a very odd thing to make a game about. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get that. It comes out at the end of the month. So, but I'm going to buy that, and then nobody will play that with me. But at least I can look at it because it'll be pretty.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's okay to buy something with the intention that I know I'm going to buy this, and I know I'm never going to actually use it, but I want to own it, and that's not necessarily a horrible.
I just bought Crisis Protocol on that basis.
but that's sort of okay because you can collect things like that.
Yeah.
And there is a chance that possibly you will play it at some point in the future. And with books, you might buy a book thinking I really want this book. There's a small chance you might never read it, but the likelihood is at some point you'll get round to it at some stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I must confess, I've actually thrown books away this week. Well, not thrown them, but take them to charity shop. Or I would do if the charity shop was open. I put them in the boot of my car. I haven't actually read them. I just bought them and then realised I'm never going to read them, so I just sent them out. Sent them out to the charity shop.
I think it was Blackjack Legacy. He said he didn't buy anything for 6 months, and I don't think I'm far off of that from a GW perspective myself. I mean, we've bought some Necromunda stuff that I do actually intend to put together and paint because we're going to actually use it, although it is still in its packaging right now.
You did buy some other Necromunda stuff too. You have put together and painted.
Yes, exactly. So I have. The new Necromunda stuff I've bought is because I have no Necromunda stuff to paint now. So I didn't have any Necromunda stuff left to paint.
I definitely overestimate my ability to make free time. So I think to myself, well, I can get that because I can free up a half an hour a day to paint those models, and that'll work. Or I can buy this book because I can just free up a bit of extra time in the day to read. Then I can read it, and then I just lie to myself because I just can't.
Yeah, it's. I think I remember reading this thing about this the other day. There's that thing about acknowledging you have dreams and aspirations that will probably never come true. It's okay to have them, to sit there and think, I'd love to have, like I have them. I certainly think I'd love to have like a 10,000 point Imperial Guard army with all those tanks and stuff, and I'd love to play massive sweeping 40k games and stuff like that, or massive AOS games and all that kind of thing. But it's never going to happen. I've kind of accepted that now. I'm never going to be in that, at least for the next 10 years. I think I'm not going to have the free time required to be able to do that kind of stuff. So I've found something else that will work instead, like Necromunda. I think we'll be able to do that, and Underworlds obviously we do play all the time now. So
I mean, Underworlds is the one product that we buy, or I buy, or you buy, that we do use a lot.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is, yeah. Every penny spent on that gets used.
Yeah, we haven't had anything yet that we've bought and we've gone, well, I don't know why I bought that. Never used it. I mean, obviously there are some cards, but they come as part of a set, and we've used other cards in that set.
Yeah.
There's been a few war bands like Monologue, but again, he came with some cards, and we've used.
When he came with some cards, so one way or the other, it justifies the purchase.
Exactly.
And so we have used Monologue, we just haven't used him as much as some of the others.
True, and for that reason, that's another reason why I like Underworlds, is that it gives you have the chance every now and then to buy a few units, and you can buy a few units, you can paint them because there's not a lot of models there. You're probably going to get some use out of something in that box, whether it's the cards or whether it's the whole war band. But it's not too often. It's like every 2-3 months you get another couple of war bands come out.
Yeah, and you say you get to dip into all areas of the lore. The war bands represent the whole gamut of models, which is really nice because there's no way I'd ever buy a troll model or whatever. I can't.
Or a Beastman war band or something like that.
Or to be honest, anything.
Now.
Yeah, definitely a Beastman or even Magors or whatever. And so you can get a taste of all worlds.
Yep.
Including Matt Collins' sex dungeon room. I know that's in it. What's my biggest hobby purchase regret? That's a good question. Biggest hobby purchase regret.
Mine will be the Nurgle Demon Army that I bought.
Okay.
Because I bought that when we were going up to Warhammer World that time with Ben, and I picked it up on the way up there. And I think I actually used it once whilst I was at Warhammer Worlds. I played against your mate. I can't remember his name.
Mike.
The writer, Mike. That's it. I played against Mike. Played one game against him, and they've never come out of the packaging ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to think. I bought the Lord of the Rings game by Fantasy Flight Games, and I've never played that. So that was. I regret that. Probably. Sometimes that's the biggest hobby regret. Some Kickstarter. Ever discovering Kickstarter, I think, might have been my biggest hobby regret. I've spent a reasonable amount of money on there and played very little of the things I bought because they always seem better in the imagining than the reality.
VJ says biggest in terms of physical or most regret. It's hard to quantify the regret. I think the other thing, apart from the Nurgle Demon Army, that was big as in cost for me was actually backing Deep Madness, because I bought those models specifically with the idea of, the models would be gorgeous and I could use them in my 40k Nurgle army, and by the time the game arrived we weren't doing 40k anymore. So I literally took those boxes and just put them straight under the bed, because I looked through the rulebook once and thought, never going to understand that game, never going to play it.
Yeah.
But I think for me it's mostly things where I've bought something thinking this will be epic and just never actually touching it once it arrived.
Yeah, I've done that quite a lot.
Ishpek asks, how big are our piles of shame? I think mine's probably tiny in comparison to a lot of people's. I don't have a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got a few boxes of grey plastic. Like I bought there was the Necron Mechanicum box that came out a year ago. I bought that with a mate of mine. He had the Mechanicum half and I had the Necron half, and I've not touched them since, really, apart from painting a few Necron models with the intention that we were going to use them for Kill Team. So I've got a few things like that, but they're mostly still sitting there because I'm too lazy to sell them.
Yeah, I've got a fair amount of stuff.
You did get sent a lot of that stuff, though, didn't you?
Well, I did, but I have bought the odd thing here and there that I then. So I've got the Middle Earth game I was just talking about, and what else I bought? I bought the Batman Gotham City Chronicles game on Kickstarter that hasn't been painted. I don't think that counts my pile of shame yet. I've just bought some stuff around Necromunda games, but they're still sealed. But I think they will be
That's a couple of blister
I'm
packs.
going to use those. I am going to use those. We bought some Kill Team stuff and then we didn't play Kill Team, and we bought some Warcry stuff and then we didn't play Warcry. I think we probably need to be more patient with ourselves, make sure we really like a game before we. I think we imagine that we're going to crack it on the channel and that we'll play games and millions of people will watch it.
Yeah.
And the reality is different to that.
Reality is we get less views than our regular Underworlds games because nobody's heard about us in that sphere.
Yeah.
And then the people obviously watch us, all you people out there mostly watch us for things like Underworlds, and because it's not Underworlds, obviously, understandably, a portion of you don't watch it, so we end up with lower viewings than we would have got otherwise. So we think we might as well stick with Underworlds then.
Yeah, and I normally find GWs, we've talked about this before, but their rate of take up is too fast for us.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's given us a thumbs down.
Where? How do you know?
Yeah, I can see it on a thumbs down on our when I'm watching the stream.
I do hope it's whoever it is who comes on gives all of our battle reports a thumbs down. Within 45 minutes of those going live, we always get a thumbs down. It warms my heart that there's someone out there waiting till 7ish every Friday night just to go on there and give us a thumbs down. In fact, we got on once, a battle report, and we didn't get a thumbs down on it for days, and I was worried that they were sick.
And they died.
I was like,
thumbs down, bot strikes again.
It's a bit weird for me, people putting thumbs down on YouTube's videos, unless it's like, obviously like a really horrific point of view that you're throwing around, or you're a racist piece of shit, or something really negative that you're doing. It's just a game. I mean, what has hurt you in life that makes you want to go around putting I don't like this on videos? I don't really think they should exist,
thumbs downs, really.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think.
Yeah,
kind of
like, what's the point? What's the point? Why they like it? Well, you don't. If you like it, say so. And if you don't, then don't say anything. Everyone needs their nemesis, gents. Yeah, that's true.
I just love to know who it is. I mean, I just like to say, "What's up, mate? What's up? You all right? Are you okay? Do you need some help or something?
John, do you need some help?"
It's just, what is it in life that's got you that badly that you have to come along to every video and put a thumbs down? I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, yeah, okay, but weird.
The third founding agent that left the band before you got famous. Maybe it's Stu.
He's been waiting at home ever since we did that first Warhammer Quest video. Bastards never asked me back. It's one of our most popular videos, that. It's weird.
The YouTube algorithm uses your thumbs down votes to avoid showing you similar videos in the future. People are just trying to curate the suggestions. Interesting.
It makes you wonder how we're appearing.
Why would they not want to watch us? That just hurts even more than the thumbs down.
Yeah. And I wonder about the YouTube algorithms, really. I really do wonder about them. I mean, you can go to like a completely virgin browser, as it were, with no cookies or anything like that, or no account, and you can search for like Underworld's Beastgrave Battle Report for a specific warband. You can practically type the title in of one of our battle reports, and we're like 20th on the list behind people with videos that's got like 6 views, and it makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever.
Hydra 66 has asked, have we tried any non-GW skirmish games, either e.g. Infinity, War Machine or Malifaux? And the answer to that is no, not really. We played Frostgrave once.
We played Frostgrave once, and we played, what was that other version which was kind of a bit like Underworlds?
Aristea,
that's it. That was a bit weird.
Yeah, that was just too confusing for me.
I didn't like the fact that it just, I didn't get the look of it. It didn't really appeal to me. That's a fucking panda over there. There's obviously some preteen girl over here. There's a bloke there that looks like he's been doing press ups with just one arm his entire life. I don't really fucking know what's going on here. So, and then there appears to be what looks like a Wild West cowboy over there, and what appears to be some kind of cyborg ninja. None of it seemed to gel for me. It made no sense at all.
It was very much like Overwatch, wasn't it? It was Overwatch on a board.
It was, yeah. But yeah, I don't think we've ever
I'd like to play Malifaux, but again, it's one of those things. It's time, and they've already got dedicated followers and channels that are dedicated to those.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just trying to. We have got very, very limited time. It's trying to pick the most efficient use of that time and to have the most fun as well, obviously.
Ishbek says, how much Patreon money would have to throw at us to play Commands and Colours? I've never even heard of that. What is that? I'm going to have to Google it now.
Yeah. Anything between £5 and £5 million, depending on what it is. Commando, you see, in colours would be different. That would be a lot more.
Colours. I'm just trying to Google it now. It looks like you can have. Oh, there's Battle Cry, Ancients, Napoleonic, Samurai Battles, the Great War, the American Revolution.
So that's pretty cool. You were asking about things like that earlier, Pete.
I was, yeah.
VJ says we should give Dread Zone a go. I did look at it, and I looked at the other game you mentioned. Was it VJ? Did you mention Monster Apocalypse? And again, it looked fun, but it's just one of those things. It's an investment, and then you've got to
Dread Zone or a band, it would appear as well.
When he first saw Underworlds, he thought it was an Age of Sigmar version of Commands and Colours. Interesting. Interesting.
It does appear to be some kind of hex-based sort of thing.
Okay.
It looks like a little bit of a cross between sort of Underworlds and Risk.
Okay.
Kind of a bit like that. Don't know. We'll have to have a look at it. I mean, I'm just looking at Battle Cry.
Command and Colours. Interesting.
The problem with all these things is generally to be able to give a good representation of the game.
£81.20. Sorry.
He exclaimed excitedly.
Wow.
The problem I find with a lot of those things is if we were wanted to do it, we'd have to put a fair bit of money in at the start, and I wonder how much those kind of things have any kind of coverage online. Is there a lot of people that watch them? Not that we do stuff purely for the views, because we play Underworld, so we're obviously not in it for the YouTube fame at all. But yeah, I always wonder with that kind of thing how much it's worth doing that kind of stuff. I also wonder a little bit. I don't think I'm really that sold on historic war games. This is like the American Revolution, where we kind of know who wins that. So do you want to be the victors or the racist pieces of shit? Which one would you like to be? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Conversation took a sudden turn.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there were two sides to that war, and there was definitely a winner and definitely a loser. Or it's that kind of thing. I don't really get historic wars and that kind of thing. Like World War II. Well, I'm not picking Germany. So, what do you do?
Yeah, I love the look of them though. Maybe that's because of my dad. But I love the look of, particularly Napoleonic games, but I love the look of bolt action and things like that. And the many, many different colours of green you can buy from Vallejo Model Colour. All interests me, but no, the games themselves leave me quite cold.
Yeah, I'm like, at least with things like AOS and 40k and stuff like that, you're almost writing the history as you go. So if you have certain characters, even if you have named characters in it and things like that, you're writing it as you go almost. You can pretend that this is a battle that's never happened before and you're adding something to the history of the game, at least in your own little subsetting you are. But when you do things like historic games, like, let's redo World War II, well, we know how it ended.
Now, I don't suppose many of them actually do the whole of World War II though, do they? So it's just an engagement.
Yeah. There is
I guess.
But I kind of always have that bit in the back of my mind, like, I'm Germany, I'm going to fight this battle, but I kind of know overall I'm going to lose. Also, as it turns out, I'm Germany here, so I'm a fascist, so I just don't really like that as much. At least in 40k and OS, everybody can be painted as the good guy and the bad guy.
Yeah. Grandpa Nurgle played a lot of bolt action and a lot of Warhammer Ancients years ago. I quite like Warhammer Ancients. I've got the rules somewhere still. I don't think I ever played it, but I liked I wanted to play. Nice one into the glory hole.
What's he put? Let's root for the bad guys are. yeah, probably. The counter argument to that for him will be, well, they had some good points.
It's interesting though. It depends on the subset, I think, because I am interested by, and we've talked about this before again, but the Wings of War kind of World War II, World War One dogfight things. I suppose because the details of that are less known and it's a bit more personal, I guess, rather than a big sweep conflict. That's especially like just X-Wings and TIE fighters, isn't it? But in real world,
true.
Obviously what they were based on.
It's like my kids, obviously, like a lot of people's kids, play Disney Infinity. They've got the Star Wars version, so one of us is running around as Anakin and the other one's running around as Darth Vader. That to me, I'm like, no, this isn't right in any way, shape or form. If I'm Anakin, you need to pick someone else like, I don't know, Yoda or somebody who was around at the same time. We can't both be the same person at different points in their life. Just bugs me.
Got no imagination, Pete.
No, I don't really. No. And I think that's why Underworlds appeals to me a bit in some ways. You don't have to have that much imagination there. It's very rules centric. But then I do like the more narrative style of play that Necromunda will give us. But again, there's no set winner there. It's gang v gang. So
yeah. I can see that. We've gone well off topic, haven't we?
Way off topic. We've got off into a whole world of God knows whatever we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So anyway, the hobby hype train and FOMO is real and it's alive, and I think more of us need to do more to try and avoid it. To try and have a bit like Blackjack Legacy, have that period of saying, you know what, I'm actually not going to buy anything for 6 months. Because what are you going to lose if you don't buy some models for 6 months, especially at the minute with the lockdown in place? Probably nothing. And if you run out of models to paint and you like painting models, then buy some to paint. But
I think I just need to buy less rules. That's really my thing. I want to do too much. I guess that's not so much fear of missing out, but I want to experience as much as I can in a very boring and limited way. So, I don't want to go out. But so I end up with lots of role-playing systems. I was thinking of buying the Tales of the Loop starter set just because it looked really cool, but there's absolutely no point.
It's like you buy it and then you'll sort of partially flick through it, but go, it's a big book, I won't read all that now, and then it'll just sit on the shelf forever.
You can never have too many rule books. I've got a terabyte of PDF RPG rule books. I'm terrible at reading PDF rules. I think that's why I can't get my head around Necromunda, because most of the rule books we've got are in PDF form. So
Grandpa Nogles asks if we're going to use the Necromunda Crocodile. Probably not, because that's the one for the Goliaths, I think, the Summer Rock. I did like the model, but I didn't buy it because I figured Cawdor's going to be my main go-to warband, so I've got some rats, some bomb rats.
Okay.
But that was it.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. I must have seen the model, but
The model is brilliant. I do love the model, but no, we're not going to use the crocodile. To be honest, we bought some various hide guns and stuff. We still have no idea how they work.
No. Matt has agreed with me. He finds it unimaginative. That's not the right word. Unintuitive using PDFs. I just can't operate them. I've actually just invested in a new tablet, so maybe with that it'll be a little bit more like reading a rule book. Because I really feel like it should be the way forward. PDF rules should be the kind of main thing, and all be indexed and much easier to find what you need. But
I did buy ages ago. I did buy one of their rule books, the enhanced version that they did for the iPad, and I bought the Eldar, I think, book, and that was really handy because it would say, you get the description of the army, or not the army, the unit, and it would say, every time it said that what abilities they had, you could click on it and it would just pop up a window with a description of the in-game rule for that thing, which was brilliant. Whereas unlike Necromunda, you're like, this weapon has these abilities, you're like, crap. Now you have to go to the index to find out what those abilities mean, and then some of those abilities reference other abilities. You're like, crap, now I've got to go find those as well.
Yeah, you get your 5-finger bookmark going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I do feel like these games are ripe for a technological innovation to make them work more smoothly. We've done it in a small way. With our Underworlds, we've started playing with the cards on a screen. And I just kind of feel like if you could have some way of capturing what's going on the table and it all feeding into the app, so it works out the rules for you, works out your bonuses and your whatever the opposite of bonuses is. There's the technology is almost there, and I feel like somebody could make and Games Workshop ought to be able to do it, make a really good app supported version of their game. And I'm amazed nobody's done it. I'm also amazed Games Workshop haven't done a sort of, what do they call it, Toys to Life thing. you buy one of their models and get to put it into a game. That'd be pretty sweet.
I guess because GW have always been about the physical aspect of it, and any digital aspect they always hive out to another company.
Well, I suppose so, but money's money, isn't it? At the end
Yeah,
of the
that's
day.
true. That's true. But it's easier for them to sell the IP to another company
Yeah.
because they can sell that same IP to multiple companies for them to make different things out of it. And if it does crap, it doesn't matter. They already got their money.
Yeah. But imagine like the new, or even like Underworlds Online, if you could put your own models into it, pretty cool. Or the new Necromancer game, that's pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised nobody's done it on a role-playing system.
Yeah, yeah. And what was I going to say just now? No, it's gone. Can't remember. I do like the fact that in the PDF versions of the rules we've got, if you get a weapon, it's got this weapon has blaze. You can just search for the word blaze, and you'll find the actual rule for that pretty quickly, which is quite handy. So yeah, there is that. I think if we ended up with any more time to be able to dedicate to other games, we'd probably go into the digital sphere a bit more, because it's less hassle to organise times for those kind of things. So things like Gloomhaven, Underworlds Online, possibly the Necromunda game. I might try a bit of Blood Bowl, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it ought to be easier, but in reality, like I said, I mentioned this in the Discord this week. In reality, I just don't get the opportunity. I think it's partly because our computer's in the dining room, which doesn't help. And it's the only one we've got ready that my wife uses, so she's using it. Believe me, I can't jump on and play a game. But I find it really difficult to even play digital games. I'm just useless, basically. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Well, I think part of the problem we suffer from is just we have families and kids and stuff like that. So that does take up a lot of time.
That's true. One day they'll have left home, and I will have all this amazing free time, allegedly.
So I've heard.
No Beef Just Barty says Warhammer Champions is a card game. You could scan your cards into the app and play with people online. You could, but I didn't like it. I say I'm fussy as well. That doesn't help.
You're not enough of a fanboy to just want it for the sake of having it.
I mean, we played it, and I enjoyed it in principle, but I found the games confusing, and I found the deck building in particular just didn't interest me at all.
Ed said he played that for a while. Is it still going? I think they went wholly digital on it as well.
I think it's got one wheezing lung left. I think it's keeping it going. It's black.
The digital version's doing really well, or at least it's doing okay.
Well, that's not what I heard.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
No, what I heard it was pretty much almost dead. I don't think there's been any new releases since February.
Okay.
I think it's the game is dead. There we go. It's not even got a wheezing blackened lung. It's actually dead.
Is that the physical version, no beef, or is that the digital version as well? Because I know the digital version did vastly outstrip the physical version. Even when the digital version first came out, it was already, in my mind, better than the physical version because it just did all of the boring crap for you. You just remembered all the rules and turning cards and other shit.
Digital and physical. Yeah, I quite like the Gladiator. He liked the turning mechanic. I quite like the turning mechanic, but it didn't fit. It didn't quite fit the theme.
Didn't make sense to me.
No, and it was a real bitch to play physically because you could very easily forget where you were on the turning sequence, and became a bit of a nightmare. It was much better in that respect on digitally. Yeah.
Also, the physical version was crap because you had the random packs. I fucking hated that. Hated that with a passion. It's like, I just need 2 of a particular card. I'll go and buy 20 packs and get none of what I need at all. Whereas in the digital version, you could just literally go, I'm going to play a bunch of random games and earn some in-game currency.
Right.
And then I'll just buy the cards I want specifically, because you could buy the specific ones you wanted then.
Rosa says he played it before it came to Underworlds and loved it. Sad to see it go. But it's not as good as Underworlds, though, is it? But again, Pete and I, we struggle again with... We talked about this before, but Keyforge I thought would be a great game for us to play. But it just didn't gel for us.
Yeah. I just found... Again, it was one of those things where I loved the idea of Keyforge where you just buy a deck and you play with it. No deck building, no having to sit down and work out what the best thing about it was, all that kind of thing. But at the same time, I didn't like that because you then just get this deck. You're like, what the fuck am I meant to do with it? And it could be you've just got a deck of cards that don't really work very well together. You've just got a shit deck, or maybe you've got a deck that's just brilliant and it's just going to piss all over your opponent regardless of what you do. And I kind of didn't like that. It's like I've got no control here.
I think when we played for longer, there was a mechanic to deal with that. But
it was a bit, yeah.
I think we found that those type of games, although they are in theory easier and quicker to play than Underworlds, they don't offer the interaction over the table. Because like in many ways, you're playing on your own, and you just kind of go, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then you have to take so much amber off you, or this is going to happen. And then similarly, Underworld, the champions just like, well, I turn these, and these, and you've taken 5 damage. There wasn't very much actual interaction. And I think for us, that having dice rolls really makes the game more immediate.
If we could find a game that was a bit like Underworlds, had the dice card model mechanic, but on a small board area, so not massive boards, didn't require a lot of investment on time, that we could get millions of people watching, we'd pick that. But then so would a million other people. So it's just the way it goes. I mean, I'm still happy playing Underworlds, and I'm happy with the group of people we have watching us and tuning in and listening to us talk shit all the time. So I'm happy.
Talk shit.
We're not going to be midwinters ever. So
we might
have to accept that. Not with Underworlds, we're not. I don't think.
Oh, we say no. Unless Underworld is 40k Underworld, 40 Cunderworld.
40 Cunderworlds.
Hashtag 40 Cunderworld.
Justin Irby says Sky Tier looked good. Was that the one that Thingy did?
Is that God Tier? Or
God Tier? He said Sky Tier. Do you mean God Tier, Justin?
Yeah, that's the one that Jamie Giblin was involved in. The people who do they do Guild Ball as well?
I think
his
so.
company. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, Guild Ball. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, if we could find something like that. Great.
Oh, Sky Tier is different. Okay.
Ooh.
God, no, I haven't. Didn't we order Super Fantasy Battle? Well, I didn't order Super Fantasy Battle. I was in touch with their marketing guy, and then he left the company and didn't give me a forwarding address or didn't tell me who to set contact. So I don't know anybody there now.
But again, Super Fantasy Battle, if you look that up online, it doesn't really have any kind of YouTube presence at all.
No, I think that's because it got kibosh because of Corona.
Possibly. I mean, you get there's a few videos of let's plays and stuff like that, which are
Is ours on there?
We didn't do one for Super Fancy Brawl.
I did one. Yeah.
You did one for Super Fancy Brawl?
I did, yeah. Not a proper playthrough, but I did do a video.
Yeah, so there's a few like how to plays and stuff like that, but there's not people doing regular content for it at all. And
apparently it's been a bollocks up, so it's a good job we weren't involved. Maybe that's why they didn't need me back.
And even the channels that have got like nearly 100,000 subscribers, their video only has like 4,000 views on. So
right, okay. So what is Sky Tier, Justin?
I'm gonna look that one up.
Okay.
Sky Tier. Is it TEAR?
Yes.
The tabletop card-driven MOBA. What the hell's a MOBA? Massive old bloody arsehole. What's a MOBA? Why would you use something like MOBA?
March 4 online. No, that's I don't know.
Average rating on Board Game Geek is 8.8. That's not bad.
Sorry?
The average Board Game Geek rating is 8.8 out of what I assume is 10.
Out of 2,000. It's like League of Legends on the PC. I don't know what that is either. MOBA is. Oh, I see. It's like, yes, I see. MOBA is like League of Legends. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. I mean, looking at the models, they don't do a lot for me. And that's one thing that, unfortunately, GW, they make some fantastic models, so everything else I look at kind of looks a little bit crap. But, yeah. Oh, I've seen that around. Yes, yeah. I haven't played it, though.
What does MOBA stand for? What does MOBA stand for? Glad not. Multiplayer Online Battle Arena.
Okay.
Well, it's not a MOBA then, is it? Because it's not online.
What's the League of Legends of Attack of the Agents Discord? Nice one, VJ. I would love to play which is why I bought it. Crisis Protocol, because I think the models of that are pretty good, and it's got a following already, and it's got an aesthetic we understand, yeah, that's what it's a bobber. Yeah, but I would like to play that. So hopefully we can get some games in.
What's that? Sky Tier?
No, Crisis Protocol.
Oh right, okay.
Because it's Marvel, and people will watch that if we do it half decently.
The only problem with that is we need the terrain that's going to be the right size, and we need the models painted.
Yeah, I agree. I think the terrain's fairly okay because they do some, but also I think it's the same scale as Railways. Somebody told me. I think somebody told me that on a live chat before. We have got somebody even talking about Underworlds.
Hey,
Defiant Nerd.
You are amongst friends.
Underworlds. Only played one game with the use of cards, and currently watching our How to Play video series, which has been really good. So excellent. That's really good to know. We really enjoyed making that series, and you kind of one of those things you put it out there, but obviously most people are in the community already know how to play, so you wonder how useful they are. But it's really good to know that they are proving useful. I wouldn't go beyond us for beginner tips though. Wouldn't look at us for expert advice.
Yeah, we definitely go for more the aspect of the community and the friendly game approach rather than the here's a deck that will win you glass.
Good luck with the young one.
Yeah. So if you do have any questions, Defatner, do feel free to post them on the YouTube videos. Any questions you might have at all, and we will do our best to answer them.
Marvel lunchtime rainbow terrain is one of their standard rail scales. Yep, that's a sentence that out of context it's entirely meaningless.
Lunchtime rainbow terrain. What the fuck does that even mean?
What does lunchtime rainbow? I think I'm just feeling old tonight. I didn't know what a MOBA was, and now I don't know what lunchtime rainbows are.
I think we're in the wrong business. I don't think we're up to it enough to be able to follow this stuff.
Yeah, follow what stuff? What's going on? Where am I?
It is a bit like that. It is a bit like that these days. So maybe we'll have to try Crisis Protocol. We need to get some models painted though for that, but maybe we'll
I've
do
got
that.
2 painted.
Oh, which ones?
I have Gamora and Nebula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's two in the right direction. Ed's got some. We could break into his house. Take those.
We still need the terrain. Need that terrain.
I've actually got some. I've got a few TT combat houses, and I've got some. I've got a little bit of railway stuff.
Okay.
So there you go.
But again, I wonder how much people would watch Crisis Protocol.
Well, Matt would. Oh no, maybe not. He's tempted by it. I think it's probably got a following. It's got it has got some devoted YouTube channels, and they seem to be pretty popular. And I'm in the Facebook group, and it's got a lot of people in it, and quite a few of them are people who pop up. Like there was some chap called Aman in there today, speculating about the new X-Men release.
Sounds like a weird bloke.
So it has got people. It has got crossover.
Yeah.
Matt says get cross-eyed. So there you go. So there is the.
The only problem I've got with that is...
I see what you mean now, VJ. And suddenly it's opened up a whole new potential for us because it's got a silly name. So he's called it Bedsit Croissant. It's just fun to riff on the stupid name. I mean, we could totally do that. That's our MO.
Okay. I see what you're going there. I mean, to be honest, the only problem I'd have with that is I'm so out of date on all the Marvel stuff as well. I wouldn't know where the fuck I'm going with that either. All my Marvel knowledge comes from the 80s.
I don't think it matters too much because it's not based on the films. It is based on the comics, I believe.
Okay.
So it kind of... I mean, some of them, I don't know. And there's big speculation about what type of X-Men are coming out because obviously all of the Marvel characters have had many iterations. So I might have to do some learning, like you just said, to make meaningful content about it. Yeah. But it interests me, and it's a little bit smaller than Star Wars Legion, which obviously also interests me. Did anybody say they're going to do a Bad Batch cartoon? It's coming out next year. That was very exciting news in this house this week.
A what?
The Bad Batch. They were in the last series of the Clone Wars, Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Okay.
And they're getting their own devoted cartoon.
Right. I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah. So, but that means there might be Bad Batch figures for Star Wars Legion. That's very exciting. They came up with a way of making clones that weren't clones, which is quite amusing.
Okay. So
Anyway.
I think we're probably getting towards the end of what did turn out to not really be that focused on what we were going to talk about at all tonight.
But we got quite a few viewers in.
We did.
Yeah.
And thank you all for joining us tonight. We have one other thing we want to cover, which was about Indomitus, Indomitus and some news.
Those are the 22 of you who've stayed till the end.
We will be doing another wider video to share on this one.
We will.
So we're going to be giving away a box. And we're going to be giving away the box that we've already opened. So there's a little caveat there.
It's the box we've opened, yeah. We're going to. There's a couple of caveats, but yeah, we decided this when everybody was struggling to get the set. We kind of talked about it and said, look, we're not going to do it justice. So there's loads of people who want it. So let's do a giveaway for it. But there are a couple of caveats because, firstly, I have already opened it. I have already badly assembled some of the miniatures, and thumbed through the book. So it won't be a new set, and that's one caveat. And the other caveat is that we will require that whoever wins it to pay postage to wherever we have to send it because it's massive.
Yeah, it weighs the same as a small child. So
particularly since they've just doubled the price of the cost to America. So we wanted to make it worldwide, but we thought it was, to be fair, we would ask the winner to pay postage, which we felt was reasonable.
I mean, for the most part, we'll send it like. We won't send it the most expensive option out there, so it's not going to be like buying an entire box.
No.
And depending on how much it is, we might be able to subsidise that postage a little bit if it's not too bad. But yeah, so there we go. That is what we're going to do with it. And yes, we can badly wrap it in some cling film before we post it.
If that's what you want, we can sign the box if anybody wants that, which I'm sure is nobody.
Pretty much no one at all. So we will be doing a video and we will release that, and the requirement will be that we will.
VJ, where's your sense of adventure? He says postage to Australia for a box he's not interested in.
So we will be doing another brief video just to announce that, and the requirement will be obviously people need to put their name in the comments of that video to enter themselves in the draw, but the people who are entering, who want a chance of getting it, will have to be around when we do the draw, which will probably be in maybe a couple of weeks' time on the show, because we had a lot of faff last time trying to give something away.
Just can't give it away these days.
Literally couldn't. Although to be honest, I did only post that thing that we gave away back in February, about a week ago. So, but that was because of COVID. So
yeah. Actually, I won't be able to post it until a big enough box arrives because I've used the box that it came in. Not realising that we were going to give it away.
I've got some boxes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Is that what you've got boxes behind you for?
I've got some boxes, yeah,
just in case. Excellent. So that's our little bit of news. It was slightly more exciting before Games Workshop decided to do print on demand things for the
print on demand is going to be like months and months and months away. So
that's
true. Still get it quicker.
Yeah, and free more or less, unless you live in Australia.
Yeah. And we kind of came to terms with the fact that we're not going to play it, we're not going to use it. It would just be silly to have it sitting in the garage with a few models sprayed and maybe one or two painted for something we're just not going to cover. So we figured, why not give that to the community at large?
Yeah. So that's our exciting piece of news.
Yeah. So
thanks, Ed.
Keep is Ed off for the night?
No, he just said, I love you. Well, Stu and Ed said it's a really nice idea. So, yeah. The Fat Nerd lives in Australia too.
Well, you never know. I mean, can't be that much postage out there, right? Once you get past a certain size. I remember I used to send some stuff, and I used to send it via, I can't remember who it was, DHL or something like that. And I remember sending a guitar once in a hard case, and it cost me £10.
Did they ever get it?
It's just some bloke in a van.
Some bloke just said, I'll send that to Australia for you, just give us a tenner.
With DHL scraped on the side of his white rusty van. No, I'm DHL, mate. £10, I'll take that for you. That's really good. So yeah, we'll release a video.
We'll check out the postage, but we just found that, I know for America it's very expensive to send stuff, so we kind of didn't want to end up spending £50 to send it away. It kind of defeats the point. But anyway.
And Defiant Nerd, you're an Oz. You're a fellow Oz. You've got some fellow Aussies in the channel. We do have quite a few Aussies in our Patreon group. I'm just saying,
Just saying, if you want,
put that out there. Put that out there. Lots of Aussies.
Third or fourth Australian patron.
Yeah. Talking about strats and deck building and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah, but it's not a hard sell or anything. It's not compulsory.
So we will be putting that video out in the next day or two to announce that giveaway. Keep your eyes peeled for that one, and it will be up.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a good point to call it a night.
Yes, I think so. BJ was ordering a Chinese foot, and they tried to charge him lots of money for that. I think that's what that says.
He tried to order a Chinese foot from a tripod. I mean, I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah, let's call it a night.
I think it's time to call it off. Call the whole thing off.
Yeah.
And this Friday on Patreon will be our first Back in the Garage
Ooh,
battle report.
Back in the Garage.
It was a really tasty game.
Gits
versus the Banshees.
Harrows.
It was a really tasty
Which
game.
reminds me, I need to do a deck review.
Oh yes.
Nora.
Yeah, I haven't done one of them either. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, and stay safe in these crazy times still. And I guess we'll see you all soon in the Beast Grave.
Beast Grave.
Bye.
Bye.